the marketing professionals group. We've been around for a little over a year now, I think it's been. Within the group, our leadership committee is myself, Marie Wise, Monica Hoyer, Angie Ryan, and we got a lot of support and help from Rick McCutcheon, who we all know and love. Between all of us, we have decades of experience in marketing and within the Microsoft channel. And in coming together to help support this group, what we're looking to do is just share ideas, what's working, what's not working. So today I've got Emilie joining me. We'll do introductions in a minute, but it's not going to be a long presentation, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes max. And then we're really just going to have a open forum discussion so we can talk about what's working for case studies right now, which is our topic. So I'm going to hand it over to Liz. Liz, you can steal the screen share now. She's going to talk to us about DynamicsCon Live, which is coming up next month. And then Rick is going to talk about the partner marketing event as well.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly, and welcome everybody. My name is Liz Hallen, VP here at Dynamics User Group. And as Kelly said, I just wanted to run through really quickly a little bit about Doug and some of the programs that we offer for all of the Dynamics community. And so if you're not familiar with Doug, we are a community and user group organization. We support all of the Microsoft D365 programs as well as Power Platform. And we are a free membership, and there's no strings attached here, I promise. We offer individual memberships, and really our core mission here is to help individuals really grow and elevate in their career through the different programs that we have, such as this meetup that we are here offering free education and training. So Doug meetups, like the marketing professionals that we're all on today, is just one of the many things that we offer. We do still have our online discussion forums, which is where our history and kind of where we started. We also offer other Doug webinars from subject matter experts in the community to really talk about those core biz app applications. While our name user is in our company name, most of our content is targeted towards our end user customers, but we're huge believers in partners and ISVs, as well as Microsoft employees, to be a large part of this community, because after all, most of you have all the expertise that needs to be shared. So we love having our partners join us. Skill Up is another program that we have. Some of these are on-demand classes, and they're a bit more in-depth training that are primarily led and offered by trainers. So some of these do have a fee associated with them, but we share that revenue with each of those instructors. And probably the most familiar is our meetup program, in addition to our conferences. And we are going to be having some little bit larger meetups called our regional meetups here. We're hosting 6 this year. We've had one already in the Pacific Northwest. But if you are close to one of these locations, we would love to have you. We'll expect multiple products, multiple tracks of content in a city, hopefully kind of near you. But our large annual conference is coming up in just less than 1 month, DynamicsCon Live. We're so excited. We are anticipating on 2,000 attendees. Today, we are very close to 1,300 registrants. And we still have a month to go. It's usually our busiest registration month, but we will have over 260 sessions on the D365 and Power Platform and Dynamics GP products. I have a promo code here for you to receive 15% off of your registration, and would love to see all of you. This is a fantastic event. I know Rick is going to talk here in just a little bit about another event that is being held at the end of the week during DynamicsCon called the Partner Marketing Event, which is absolutely geared towards everybody on this call. So I will save Rick's thunder for that. If you are closer to Europe and want another awesome community experience, this is not one of the Doug events, but we are very close partners with the folks putting on Dynamics Minds that is happening the last week in May in Slovenia. Also a really great community event with tons of education for end users, lots of experts, Microsoft employees, and all the things. They have a really fun theme. If travel and travel budgets are not something that you have access to this year, We are very pleased to still offer you the DynamicsCon virtual event. This will be a free day, and we will have a full day of educational content on all of the business applications. And what's great about this event is that it's truly community driven. Not that all of our other programs aren't, but this one, our session submissions are open right now. So we encourage any of you who are willing to share your knowledge and expertise to submit a session. Our session submissions are open now, and they will be through August. And once the session submissions close, we will turn those over to the community to vote. And those top voted sessions will be the ones that you will see on the final agenda during DynamicsCon Virtual, which is held November 13th. And that is what I have. So I will turn it back over to Kelly.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And thank you all for being here and for our awesome leaders.
Awesome. Rick, do you want to tell us about the partner marketing event, which if you were on the call when we first started, was one of my highlights of DynamicsCon Live last year. It was a great event.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Liz. We've got a special event starts kind of the afternoon of the closing of DynamicsCon and continues on through to May 17th. It's the partner marketing event, and this was put on with MS Dynamics World last year. And I've got to tell you, it was an excellent event last year. And if you haven't got a travel budget to go to DynamicsCon, like you got to figure this out early, right, and get there. So to this event, it's going to be the afternoon. We have Microsoft, someone from their marketing group. It's going to come and have a keynote. We're going to confirm that probably this week. Then we're going to look at MSDW survey results. And every year they do an annual survey where they talk to marketers, talk to ISVs, talk to partners, and get their feedback on, what's working. Then we're going to have a panel discussion on what SI partners want from their ISV relationships. So that'll be a nice session. And then on the Friday, we're going to look at building your funnel and customer journeys. And then we're going to get into some AI discussions and how we're using AI today. And then we'll have an ISV marketing performance panel, which is going to close our event just before noon. And every year, last year was excellent, right? We had, I'm going to say, 5 of the top marketers in our space sit on a panel and start taking questions from the audience. So if you can make it. So last year we ended up with like 60 marketers in the room for that day of discussion, day and a half. We've got capacity for 100, so we're probably going to go over last year, and I'm hoping we'll get close to that 100 mark. And if you can make it, and even for this event, or if you're in the Denver area, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I have some passes. This is an $800 event, but if you're part of this marketing group, I have some discount passes for you. So reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'll try to set you up. I've got a limited amount, but I'll try to set you up with one of those passes. Okay, Kelly, back to you.
Thank you, Rick. So Rick will be speaking at that partner marketing event. I'll be on one of the panels as well. And then Monica Hoyer, who's also on the leadership committee of this group, will be speaking as well. So a lot of great content from what I've seen, and it's going to be another great year for sure. All right, so we are here today to talk about the importance of case studies, and we're going to talk about the tips that Emily and I have for streamlining that content creation process. Like I said earlier, we don't have a big presentation. We're going to share some insights that Emily and I have, and then from there, we're just going to open up the floor and have an open forum discussion where everyone can ask questions, and we can all chime in and help each other with that. So welcome. My name is Kelly Mazur. I manage marketing and Microsoft partnership at Evenica. Evenica is a Microsoft partner. I've been working in marketing for about 15 years, and a large chunk of that 15 years has been involved in case studies. So I'm really happy to talk about this topic today. Emily, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Emilie Toll. I'm based in Indianapolis. I'm the product marketing manager for 2 of sa.global's IPs that sit on the Microsoft stack. I've been in the marketing space for probably about 15 years and only in the Microsoft channel for 3, but I love it and I can't wait to share what I've learned and hear what you guys have.
Amazing. Thank you for joining me today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I want to challenge all of you to do is if you were to take a look at your Google Analytics today and you were look at those pages or narrowing down that top type of content type, looking at it by performance, what would be your number one? So I took a screenshot the other day of Evenica's Google Analytics homepage, about page. Those are always going to be in the top two. But as we start to like actually get into that content, case studies is the top performing content. It is above our video library. It is above our blog posts. It is above our white papers. And it's consistent month after month after month. I can go back many years and I can look at companies that I've worked for like prior to Evenica, and it is always case studies. And I would challenge that for almost any partner or end user on the call today, that if you are creating case studies and that's part of your content marketing strategy, I bet they're up there as your top performer. Emilie and I were looking at some stats that we found here, and this is a ranking of effective marketing tactics, and this is specifically for SaaS companies, but I just liked the way that this was laid out, and I think that this would be for, this could even be true for CPG as well. I think that across the board, we would see this. Case studies continues to be one of the strongest marketing tactics above SEO, above your website, above your email marketing. And the reason is that customers out there, they want the stories. They want to know not only like your solutions page, for example, where you're like describing your product. Of course, it's going to say great things. Of course, you're going to have like, your explainer videos and you're going to have some stats in there. But the case studies is where you get into the stories, especially when you get that story arc that maybe shows the challenges, things that came up during the process and what that end result was. And I think that's what a lot of customers are looking for when they're looking for to make that purchasing decision, right? Did I just skip ahead here? No, okay. So the very first question that I always get asked about case studies is, how do you get your customers to agree to do them? So one thing that I have always done is I've put an agreement into our statement of work. So when we have a new customer signing up to do an implementation, it's right there in the contract. I have only had one customer in the last 5 years question it and ask to have it removed because they couldn't commit to it. And it was a very large brand that doesn't allow their logo on any of their vendors' websites. But almost everyone else is happy to have it in there. Mm-hmm. Emilie, I know you added in some good points here about clients at events and pulling those testimonials out when you hear them saying good things about you. So I think that's a really good approach to take too. What else do you do here, Emilie?
So again, I'm a product marketer, so I have user groups, and it's a great opportunity for me to interact and hear those feedback and then use those in the marketing language and to tell that story. So at that point, I built relationships with our clients, which is something I've never had in my past. So then I can just ping them and be like, hey, I need a testimonial for this. Can you float me one? And they're like, sure. And so I have that relationship. Yeah. Just, I think, imperative to my success.
Yeah. In my current role, previous jobs, I've had a closer relationship with the customers. In my current role, I don't. So I really rely on my delivery team to utilize their relationship with them. And it takes a little bit of coaching, but it's still possible even if you're not the point person for the customer. Okay, references. We're talking about testimonials today, but there's so much more that you can come up with there. Just agreeing to have the logo on your website, which is something I also put right in a statement of work. Coming up with those client success stories, inviting them to speaking engagements. I've actually had a number of very happy customers that have done case studies for me that have also agreed to appear on an MSDW panel with me, which is often or always hosted by Rick McCutcheon. And those are our best performing panels, I think. I love when we can get a customer in there and they're willing to kind of do that public speaking engagement with us and tell their story. And that's wonderful exposure on both ends. What else do you do here, Emilie?
Yeah, so speaking engagements as well as more so speaking engagements. So one of my IP products I do is very industry focused. And so all of our clients show up to this industry practice. Well, we pay their way and they hang out in the booth with us. And honestly, 2 years ago, we had so much booth traffic, such a bad thing, to have happen to a marketer, that the client actually picked up a computer and started demoing for us. Nothing is better than that as a marketer in sales. So that's another great one. And then actually product reviews, I just got an email in my inbox today that we are trying to drive people to AppSource, so Microsoft AppSource, to get our IP. So I actually pinged the sales guy. I was like, hey, I have budget to give a thank you gift because we ask our clients to do so much for us. So product reviews, just, yeah. And then my last note on the far right here is I grabbed this was so resonating with me on one of these Doug calls, that people learn in 4 different ways. So don't just put all your money into a slide or all your money into a case study. People learn visually, orally, reading and writing, and kinesthetic is a little harder, but it can be done. So I just wanted to make sure you're all like thinking that.
Yeah, and that's something we're going to get into as well, is how we repurpose that content too. Here we go. Next slide. So I would say right in the middle, PDF download. That is my starting point usually, is making that like PDF case study. Having it written out on a web page, similar layout to like a blog post, is another option. Creating a full-length video based on those talking points, and then editing that or hiring someone to edit that and make that down into a short form video is another option. Podcast episode, whether that is a separate podcast recording or whether it is audio from the full-length video. And then, of course, a written testimonial. And actually, in a really great case study, you can probably pull out more than one testimonial.
Absolutely.
And give you some variety. All right.
Yeah,
Emilie,
so
you want to start us off here?
Yeah, I borrowed this from our CMO because I just, again, think that relationship is kind of one of our foundations here in marketing, that it's not just our marketers' responsibilities, and it's not just sales, and it's not just delivery, it's a team sport. So like Kelly was saying, like she leans on delivery, so she has to build that relationship with the delivery team to kind of get that reciprocity. So just make sure you're looping in everybody and saying, you know, maybe pull out a Kelly, like Kelly pulled up Google Analytics, show them like that's our 5th most visited page, like see how that helps drive the pipe and how that, so that way everybody knows. And then also make sure you have your cultural enablers, so your HR leaders and your business heads really going to bat and kind of saying, hey, I heard this, is that something we could kind of put on the website or something else, or grab them to go to a trade show.
I love that. And I think you can get a lot of buy-in from other people at your company to help participate in building those customer relationships with the end goal of doing a case study. When you approach it as everybody has those favorite customers, right?
Yes.
Those customers that are such a joy to work with, and the project is, you know, profitable and as smooth as it possibly can be, and hopefully fun along the way. And when you approach it as, we want more of those customers, you loved this customer, they were easy to work with. Marketing and sales wants to bring you more of that customer. So help us create these stories, create these case studies so we can attract more of those customers that we love. I mean, we love them all, but
we love them, but we love some more.
So what is your 1, 2, 3 method for
yeah, so again, borrowed this from the global CMO. I worked at Accenture, so I worked at Blue Horseshoe, which was acquired by Accenture, and they love to say I won't drain the slide. Just again, like Kelly said, identify the clients that you want to perpetuate. So the first point, run like a sales pipeline. So make sure you're just tracking them, whatever process works for you as a marketing organization, sales organization. And then I always love the what's in it for me. That's our CMO's go-to phrase. So make sure you tell them what they can get out of it. We like to pitch, like right now we're trying to work on getting some of our case studies on Microsoft.com. Hey, you'll get visibility, you'll get brand exposure, you'll get notoriety in the industry and whatnot. And then just know what they're also willing to do. So I know one of my clients doesn't want anything written about them, but they'll always show up to trade shows with us, or they'll always take a customer's reference call. So I'm never going to go to them and ask them for something written. And then, like I said, incentivize clients, get them to the trade show, give them a nice piece of swag. You know, we all got swag laying around that you can't use anymore. Send it to them. So
yeah, I love that. All right, so how do we make this content creation process easier? Okay, so we're going to start with that approval process, which Emilie, I think you do very well. Touch on that a little bit.
I'm sorry. Throw that back at me.
The approval process. Like
yes.
I like to get it into my sal, but I think you have some other strategies that you use as well to get the customer to say yes. And actually, maybe you just touched on it too with like finding a way to incentivize them, right?
Yeah. And we have, so again, working with Microsoft, so they have a really great template, and I'm happy to share it, that kind of gives the email, hey, we'd like to feature you. Here's what you get out of it. What's in it for me? And then here's the X time expectation it should take from you. And then the process, you'll have full visibility to sign off before. And then that way it's all transparent, that it's really kind of hard for them to say no. And then you also have it in writing also when they say yes. And so we actually in our CRM, Dynamics 365 Sales, have a field that says referenceable. So that way we can also track as marketers. So.
Amazing. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's step one. From there, I like to have templated interview questions just so me and the team that I'm working with have something to start with. So every case study, we're going to edit those questions a little bit, but having that streamlined and having a template to start with is a great starting point.
Mm-hmm.
From there, I schedule a video recorded interview. Depending on how comfortable the customer is on video and the quality of the video and like what we're working with, that video might actually end up being a piece of content on its own. But at the very least, I have the audio and I have a transcript and I have record of that conversation. So the end goal is always to have like a video that we can produce. But if not, we at least have a really solid copy of that conversation. From there, I like to transcribe the interview and the conversation from there, and then repurpose that raw content. So that's going to turn into the webpage content, the PDF download, potentially videos, potentially audio, and all of that. And the testimonials too will come out of that. So taking this process here, there are a few different ways that different tools that me and Emily both agree that we frequently use. So storing the interview questions, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Form. I have it all in a SharePoint folder as well. Video recorded interview, I usually do mine on Teams. Transcript, ChatGPT, and repurposing the raw content, slides, and social media content. And there's definitely things you can outsource along the way here. So if you're a smaller team, when you can look at what the ROI of that case study is and you can identify the steps like we've done here, it can become easy to either outsource the entire process to a marketing agency, or for me, I do all of this in-house except for the video creation, and I chose to outsource that part.
Yeah, and I threw that second line in there because we don't have the luxury of outsourcing. So we are scrappy and lean, and that's how we kind of automate.
Yes, absolutely. Leveraging AI wherever we can. And I do think what I've done is I've copy and pasted like a written case study into ChatGPT and gotten, even if it's just social media captions out of it, or gotten like shorter stories out of it. So if you're making like a teaser video or a shorter post for LinkedIn, just repurposing that content and making it as quick as possible. Yeah. All right. So
I threw this in at the last minute, Kelly. If it doesn't like ring a bell, I was actually tooting the horn, but Microsoft flashed this up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. So I know I always struggle with, okay, we don't have quantifiable things, or what can we quantify for our clients? I love this slide. So it's not just cost, it's not just time. Think about value, number of processes. Did you increase collaboration? Like, I just thought this would be a great screen capture.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody needs to screen grab this one.
Yeah.
These are, I would also be working at least one of these into the headline, to the title of your case study.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll give it a sec, make sure everyone's grabbed that. And grab it myself. Whoops, there we go.
Look at that. That was about 15 minutes on the head.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so that's what we've got for presentation for you guys. I don't know why my sharing has paused here. Let's give that a try again. So we're going to open it up to questions. So anybody that would like to ask Emily or myself a question or has something to add in or input, please come off mute. If not, I'm going to start picking on people in the audience.
Oh no, not to attend your webinars. Just kidding.
Right? Rick, go ahead.
So, this morning, getting ready for this session about case studies, couple of years ago, I was using LinkedIn for publishing case studies.
Mhm.
And I hate to admit this, but the case studies outperformed my partner talks 2-1, right? So
Wow.
I was getting incredible following from publishing case studies. And it depended how we published them. So I did a lot of work with Resco. And they had a really nice graphic on all their case studies. And when I would put a Resco case study up, the way it would come into LinkedIn, it would cover more space than a video or a
Yeah.
typical
Okay.
posting. And the numbers were incredible. And then LinkedIn cut it off. Well, this morning I noticed I can do it again. So I'm going to start testing that as well. But I think a lot of us miss LinkedIn, and I've asked some clients, do you want me to post on my feed? Because most of my feed is partner to partner because of partner
Yeah.
talks. And a lot of them don't want to put a case study up because they can't gate it, right? And I'm thinking,
Right.
well, maybe you want to gate your current case studies, but maybe you have some different versions you want to put out there because, the exposure in the partner network is very strong because just on that, and I find on LinkedIn, all the work I'm doing with clients, the P2P, partner to partner, is probably 5 to 10 times higher than trying to get the customers through LinkedIn. So if you have a case study, especially if you're an ISV and you want partners to see it, that's something I think you should give a try to.
Yeah, definitely gonna try that. Awesome. Scott. Hi.
Thanks, Kelly, Emily, for doing this. It's great. Question is, what's the right length? So I've struggled with trying to get everything into one case study to put on the website so it's complete, and maybe even have a shorter version that we put out on LinkedIn, just so it's just a teaser, pull them back to the website. What's your target range for length of a case study, a video case study?
Oh, video case study. Okay, I'll
Video,
start
okay.
with my PDF case studies are usually 3 pages long.
Yeah.
Video case study, when it comes to video, I feel like their attention span is that much shorter. So I would say under 3 minutes for sure.
Yeah, I've had great success with like a minute and a quarter, minute and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
think across the board, people's attention spans, mine included, have dramatically increased over the last 10 years as technology continues to grow. And we've been hosting webinars at Evenica that we keep to about 20 minutes long,
Okay.
which is a lot shorter than a lot of webinars out there that are booked for a full hour. And we've had a lot of success with that because it does, you grab the value, grab the information in a short period of time. So I think case studies can be similar in that if you can tell the story in a shorter amount of time, that's great.
Yeah, because then you can also share them on like LinkedIn. As someone's scrolling, they're maybe only going to tune in, but also if you email them, because I know we email video links, our salespeople do. So
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Rick. Oh, you're still on mute.
yeah.
When you do a short video like that, that's a minute and a half, does that lead to longer content? Does that lead to printed content? What do you find? Because that's pretty short, right? A minute and a half, and sometimes you can get more out of a customer.
I personally would always link any video to another piece of content. So any video I do that is, a mini case study or a video case study, that is definitely being linked back to the PDF version. Or if I had that customer and the partner and Microsoft doing an MSDW panel with me, I'd be linking back to that as well. So which would in turn be a longer form version of that story. Yeah.
Thanks.
And I think you can go both ways, like create the longer content first, create that big PDF. Like that's going to be the more time consuming. You're going to put a little bit more dollars towards that, but you just cut it back and repurpose into smaller bites of content once you have that big piece. And same with the video.
Yeah, and sorry, I'm just going to add on to that, like, too. I'm just thinking my clients have touched like operations, have touched IT, have touched finance. So like I can take that longer video and splice it for whatever my persona I'm trying to target.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that too. And if you're worried about video content being too long or telling the story, it's taking too long to tell the story, could you break that up into smaller bits as well and create multiple case studies with one customer?
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, always an option. Any other questions out there, Rick?
Oh,
Where are you getting your best SEO? Is it from LinkedIn, YouTube, or from just your search on your website?
Search, predominantly Google. Second for me is LinkedIn. Third is Bing. And
Okay.
actually fourth is MSDW.
So you don't see YouTube coming into it?
We're not, yeah. Previous companies, yes. YouTube, my current company, no. But we're more so using YouTube to host videos rather than using it as a marketing platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when, and I just on this because for another customer, we were looking at YouTube for F&O, right? And it's like a huge drop off. There's a few partners getting like incredible coverage for F&O, and we looked at BC as well, and then nothing, right? And then, a few people getting like 30 views per video. So when we start to look at YouTube, it becomes interesting who's winning and who's losing there.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. It definitely takes an entire strategy.
Yeah.
And budget.
And I don't know, like Kelly and I, when we first synced, she showed me her Google Analytics, and I was like, that's awesome that you have A, visibility into it, and B, that you're ranking. Does anybody else have visibility into that? And are they seeing the same results, or are you like sa.global and you're struggling with that right now?
It definitely depends on the size of your organization, how much visibility you have, for sure. That's one thing I will always fight for, though, as a marketer, is full visibility into the Google Analytics. Yeah. Or at the bare minimum, can you set what parameters you would want for a custom report so the owner of Google Analytics within your organization can have that report automatically? They don't even have to do anything, fired off to you every month, giving you the data that you need. That's a worthwhile approach too if you can't get in there yourself.
Yeah.
I would be very curious. I know some of you are shy and not coming off mute, so you can use the chat if you prefer. I'd be very curious if anyone else has a different type of content that is performing higher than case studies. Because I think the last 4 or 5 organizations I've worked for have all been case studies. And Emily, I know you have limited data, but do you feel that yours is predominantly case studies, or do you have other content that performs well as well?
To be transparent, we just redid our website and I don't like it. So I couldn't tell you what's working and what's not working.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I will say that video content is what comes in second for us.
Okay.
Third would be white papers. But if I look at those video content, some of those are video versions of the case studies that actually I don't have chopped up finely in the analytics.
Yeah, and I know there's a renewed interest in customer references, but right now our content team is pumping out white papers and other things. So it's kind of our content strategy that's driving, I would hope, our Google Analytics.
Awesome. Any other input or questions from anyone here? We had a quiet audience today.
Kelly, this is Michelle Scobie. I am going to ask
Michelle.
a question. Hi.
Yeah.
You mentioned Bing for search, and that's the first time I've I guess I kind of was taken aback by that because, we've gone after the top 2 and you mentioned Bing was your third one. How much traffic are you seeing coming through Bing? I know it's kind of a hit or miss, but and what are you doing to increase that moving forward?
Yeah. I'm not, I gotta be honest, I'm not investing anything in Bing. I wasn't doing anything to attract traffic from Bing.
Oh, okay.
I suspect because we are a Microsoft partner, in 99% of the deals that my company does are with another partner. We are always often sa.global. So we approach every project we do with Microsoft and a Microsoft partner. So we just eat, breathe, and live Microsoft. And if I look at the stats, when I get the list back from MSDW after we host a panel and I see who attended it, or if I look at who attended my webinar yesterday, it's a lot of partners. It's a lot of Microsoft employees. Okay. And I think the Bing traffic is because
that's where it's coming from.
I don't know that Microsoft employees are allowed to use Google as their search engine. So.
I can tell you, because I used to work at Microsoft, that would probably be an accurate comment. Because we weren't allowed to use iPhones for the longest time either. When I worked there, it was like prohibitive, but now I think it's, you know, they don't have a Microsoft phone anymore. So, okay, well, that makes sense. So because I was like, whoa, maybe that's something we need to look at from an SEO perspective. So thanks for that insight.
Yeah, it's not something that happened intentionally. I can tell you that.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
And I do like the comments on the snackable. So Rebecca Easton, that's on the call with me. We've been doing a lot of, more snackable videos. We do have a YouTube channel and we are seeing a lot of traffic come in that way as well.
Amazing.
And I am going to reach out to Emilie to get the email example, because
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I've been doing is reaching out to customers and, trying to get them to, it's a give get. I mean, they get
Yes.
the word out, then we can then suggest them for other conferences,
Mhm.
so it kind of has a twofold effect. But yeah, so we're going down that path pretty aggressively at Cargus. So thank you.
Amazing. Any other comments or questions?
Oh, God just posted something. We are running ads in both. All right, thanks, Scott. I'm going to pass that
Yeah.
along to our SEO
Yeah, so
person.
Scott posted in the chat here that the ads he's running in Google, Bing makes it very easy to take them and bring it over into Bing.
Okay.
So you can take that one ad concept and replicate it in Bing.
That's interesting. Thanks,
Yeah.
Scott.
We, as marketers, we need to recycle wherever we can, right?
Evergreen, make it last.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was something that I learned when I worked at Microsoft. It was case, copy and steal everything. So there's no sense of, I know, isn't that crazy? Because somebody has already done some of the work. So
Yeah.
if you can move it from one platform to another, I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Scott said that they are specifically, the Bing ads are specifically to get Microsoft people and partners. I love that. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Evenica's had a lot of success in attracting business through Microsoft sellers and partners. So if that's where they are, then that's a great way to connect with them.
That's true. Good call.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
You do that.
Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, well, we will wrap up there. If there's no other questions or comments, I will leave you guys with one last tip as we are heading into, or I guess already in conference season. This is a great time to create content on the fly. So if you are at a conference or you're at a trade show and you have customers there, what a great time to get a 10-second video from them or get a quick written testimonial from them. So have your interview questions templated, saved in your phone, ready to go, and have some sort of agreement, that permission, have that ready to go right away. So you can get sign off on the spot. I know I was at an event at my gym 2 weeks ago, and they asked me on the spot, they handed me a mic and said, hey, can we get a testimonial about what you love about the community of this gym? I felt pressured into saying yes. I mean, I wasn't going to say no because I love them, but I gave them a video testimonial on the spot. And how easy was that compared to trying to schedule it? So if that's something you can do during conference season, that is my last closing tip for you today. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us. This video will be saved and put on the Dynamics User Group YouTube channel. So if there was information here that you want to hear again, or slides you want to see again, or if you want to share it with somebody that couldn't make it today, that's where you'll find it. Awesome. Okay,